Hey gang, welcome back to another video. Now if you're anything like me, you have a bunch of foam pumpkins laying around that have seen better days. They're sun-bleached, cracked, have failing paint, or worse yet, all of the above. So in this video, I'll show you a few easy steps to breathe some new life into your foam pumpkins. So let's get into it. Foam pumpkins are a great solution for Halloween, but they're not exactly meant for extended outdoor use and end up looking like this. Peeling paint, faded from long-term sun exposure, or even cracked along the seams. Thankfully, these are all things that can be fixed with a little elbow grease and some inexpensive craft store paints. Now, of course, you could just paint right over the problem areas, but that'll only delay the inevitable. So I grabbed a Scotch-Brite pad and gave my pumpkin a good scrubbing. The intention here is to remove any failing paint, but also make micro abrasions to the surface to promote better paint adhesion. And as you can see, this pumpkin is in pretty rough shape. The paint is coming off the foam with minimal effort and exposing all of the smaller cracks in the recesses. So not only is it removing the stuff I don't want, it's helping me to see the areas that would likely be a problem in the future so that I can address them now. So it's a win-win. When it looks like I've removed all of the failing paint, I'll grab some Mod Podge and a sea sponge and we'll get to applying a few coats to the entire pumpkin. This will not only help seal the newly exposed foam, but will help to prevent any additional moisture from getting under the old paint and causing more problems. Now you could do this with a brush, but I wanted to see if I could build up any texture in the Mod Podge, which would help give the pumpkin a bit more character and make it look less perfect. This worked to a degree, but if you have a bunch to do, you could definitely skip it, since I don't think it'll really show up in the dark. For the cracks along the top of the pumpkin, I'll use a brush to help push some of the Mod Podge down into the cracks, which should prevent it from spreading any further. And once the entire pumpkin was coated, I set it out in the sun to dry. After about 20 minutes, the Mod Podge was completely dry and looked like it had done a good job in sealing all of the bare foam and paint edges, and I could get to applying my base color. I found that this terracotta acrylic paint is a pretty close match, so I grabbed a brush and started applying it to the entire piece. I'm not too worried about getting perfect coverage, since this is just one of the paint colors I'll be applying, so I'll move through this step pretty quickly. This is also a great time to add more paint into any of the cracks that may be forming in the recesses of the pumpkin. When it looked like I had a good layer of the terracotta paint, I left it to dry while I grabbed the next two colors. For this next pass of paint, I'll be using a mix of jack-o'-lantern orange and burnt sienna, and will apply it with my sea sponge. Any bright orange and reddish brown will work. I'm basically looking to give the pumpkin a less flat-looking paint job, and the sea sponge allows me to blend the colors in more organic ways. My first go at this is a bit more on the brown side, but you can see how mottled the finish looks, which is good. What I need to do now is bring out more of the highlights. So I'll go back with my sponge and mostly the bright orange color, and will continue to add and blend the colors across the surface of the pumpkin, especially around the face, to help brighten up his carving and make it stand out a bit more. If you're working on multiple pumpkins, you'll want to mix up your paint ratios to keep them from looking too uniform. So add a bit more orange or a bit more brown, or even a pale green to give your pumpkins more variety. The next thing I did was to mix up a bit of yellow ochre paint and sponge it along the bottom of the pumpkin, since the part that's on the ground is almost always lighter in color than the rest. So I added a bit to my damp sponge and worked it around the bottom until it was blended in with the rest of the paint. This isn't totally necessary. I just figured since I was here, I'd try to add in a bit of realism to the pumpkin, even if it's not likely to be seen at night. Once the paints were dry, I shifted my attention to the stem. This one was relatively intact and only had a few orange spots on it, so I grabbed a light beige acrylic paint and gave it a quick touch-up. When it was dry, I added a bit of brown paint to the tip of my brush and with an upward motion gave the stem some striations of color to help it look less uniform. This, like the lighter color on the underside of the pumpkin, is probably not anything that would really show up under haunt lighting, but I figured I'd mention it in case you enjoy having your pumpkins indoors where it might be more visible. After 30 minutes of dry time out in the sunshine, I grabbed a spray bottle full of Mod Podge Ultra in matte finish and coated the entire pumpkin. This is a sprayable version of the brush-on Mod Podge and will help to add a third layer of weather resistance as well as help lock in the color for a bit longer than just leaving the paints without. The standard brush-on version will work just as well. I only had it in gloss and wanted the pumpkins to look a bit more matte. Now, as you can tell, I was a bit heavy-handed with my application, so I used my sponge again to help handle any drips, and then it was back out into the sun to dry. And just like that, I'll call this one done. Now I know this may seem like a lengthy process, but if you have multiple pumpkins, you can do it in batches so that you're not waiting for any of the paint to dry. Plus it's an inexpensive way to extend the life of the pumpkins you already have. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, go make something.